Alright, so today we're going to go over how to create a model, and using the CAM workbench we're going to generate the G-code that we're going to use in our CNC machine. So first thing, we're going to create a file. So just so it helps you guys a little bit, what I want you guys to do first is actually to come down here and see this start part. So this is the task. So I wanted to make it so, see that how you have an arrow. We're going to go to a little hand. We're going to left click on it. So the hand has to become right here. It has to become a little hand. We're going to left click on it, and we're going to drag and drop up here. Right, so I go from model and task. See? This is how the old FreeCAD was, and I believe it's much easier to use it like this than to have it like a separate. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is just create our model. So first we have to create a body, and then inside of the body, then we can start putting our sketches. See? If we just start with a sketch with no body, we're going to have problems. So we need to be sketching on the X and Y plane, right? So later on, we don't have to actually change axis to for the CNC machine, and we're less prone to actually have problems. Okay. So the other thing that we're gonna do, so we're not gonna have problems. So let's do 80 by 40. So that's our piece there, and I'm just gonna put it right here. Okay, so that's my piece there. So again, 8 by 40. Good. And see how I use the positive quadrant here? So X and Y positive. That's how we're gonna do. So we have less problems later on. Okay. All right, so I can escape. So now, what's the thickness of my material? So I went there and I measured the stock that we're gonna use to cut, and the stock is about 13 millimeters thick. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot for more. So we make sure that we cut through, but then as it cuts on the CNC, as soon as it cuts all the way off, and it pops off, then we can just hit the stop button, right? So I'm gonna pad this guy, and I'm gonna pad to 18 millimeters, right? Because our piece is 13, but I want to give you some extra there, some extra depth of cut, and then as it cuts, then I can just hit the stop. All right, so now the next one, we're gonna sketch right on top of that piece there. So what I'm gonna do is just put another one here, and we can do a 45, 25. Good. Escape. So now this one is gonna be a pocket. So we don't want it to cut all the way through. So we can just do a pocket with 5 millimeters. That's fine. Okay, so that's our solid, the one that we're gonna be using for the exercise. Okay. So now we want to make sure that our measurement system here is actually set for metric small part CNC, right? If I don't, as soon as I switch to the CAM workbench, I'm gonna get an error. So we're gonna switch here, and let's go to CAM. All right. All right, so here we're in the CAM workbench. The first thing that we want to do is actually create a job. So we're going to left click on the job there. He's going to say, oh, do you want to use the only one solid that's there? And say yes. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to remove the stock in the Z axis, because we're not going to cut anything above our wood, and we're not going to cut anything below. So we pretty much the thickness of the stock is going to be the same, right? So we don't have anything in the Z-axis. And I would rather have this the origin to be moved up here. We can also leave it down here, but like I would rather keep it up here. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a Control B so I can zoom in, because I want to click right in this, right on that vertex there. And I'm gonna click link stock and model, and I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. Now, if you zoom out, if you look, our origin, move it up to the top, right? So you can do OK. So that's as much as we have to do for now. Next thing is we're gonna have to create our toolbit, the one that we're gonna use. So I'm gonna click on this toolbit doc. It's gonna say you don't have any directory set up to work in. So like, where do you want to do it now? And I say yes. So now I'm gonna go, let's say, to my student. In here, I'm gonna create a FreeCAD. Inside of FreeCAD, I'm gonna create tools, and actually I'm gonna choose tools. So that's where I'm gonna be saving all the tools that I create. So it says, oh, you don't have the subdirectories bit, library, and shape that you should have in your working directory. Do you want to create them now? And I say yes. So do you want to copy the file examples to bit? Yes. Do you want to copy the library examples to the library? Yes. But did you notice that like first he told us to create 3 directories, bit, library, and shapes, but it only asked us to copy 2 folders. So we need to create to copy the things to the 3rd folder, right? So I'm gonna minimize this. So let's see, I'm gonna click here. We can go into our FreeCAD tools, and there's stuff in bit, right? Because he has it has to actually copy things there, but like there's nothing inside of shape, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy stuff to this folder. So right now we can go copy, right? And I want to copy recursively, like I want to copy everything that's inside of the folders and inside of the folders that were inside of the folders and so on. So RF. So now I want to go to snap. So what I'm doing is I start typing, and then I hit tab, and then it's just auto completing for me. So FreeCAD, so snap, FreeCAD. If I hit like a tab twice, it shows me the option. So I'm gonna do 1248. Now I'm gonna do user. Now I'm gonna do mod. Now we're gonna do cam. And now I'm gonna do tools. And inside of tools, I wanna copy everything that's in there, right? And where do I wanna copy to? I wanna copy to the, and then FreeCAD, and then tools, right? What's tilde? Tilde means /home/student. So that's your home folder, right? So when I hit enter, you copy things there. So if I go in, so there is actually here. So if I go into my shape, we have shapes in there now, right? Like just like magic. All right, so now we're gonna look at this, how to create our tool bits, right? So so last thing that we did when we were in this page, we click on the toolbit doc. It created the working directory. So now, and it opened this one tool selector here. So what I'm gonna do is actually click the editor, and then you should have a bunch of things here like this. However, if it's not here, we can actually look for it. So you can select the working path, and then you choose where your library with the default tool table is, right? So what we're gonna do is create bit. So we need to first to select the shape. Shape is does the basic properties of the tools based on like what shape, what if it's rounded, if it's square, if it's has cutting edges, you know, so what we gotta do is we had to go back and find our shapes. So FreeCAD tools, shapes, and then we're gonna be creating an end mill, right? So now we're inside of bit, and it says save your file, like save what you wanna, what's the name that you wanna save with. So like I'm gonna do 1/4 inch end mill, right? So I'm gonna hit save, and now we have one more there, right? So I'm gonna do close, and now it's showing here. We don't have to have it showing here so we can use it, but now that's showing here, it's fine. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go back to job, double click, inside of tools, I'm gonna delete this default tool, but before deleting I have to actually add our tool here, and then now I can remove this one. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to change the feed rates for our tool as it moves in this in the CNC program. So the horizontal feed, let's say it's going to be 700, and the vertical feed is going to be, let's say, 800, and the spindle speed is going to say 8,000, right? So this 700 and 800 it's how fast it's going to move when it's traveling or when it's cutting, and the spindle speed is actually what's the RPMs of the spindle. Good, so I'm going to hit OK. All right, so now I can start creating my operations. So what I'm going to do is, I have a few ways to actually create it. So the first one is going to be the pocket, and the second one is going to be the profile. We always do all the cuts on the inside first before we cut the profile, and then we make this pop out. Otherwise, if we pop it out and then we try to cut in the middle, then this piece is just not connected there anymore, so it's not being secured anymore. So the first thing to do is everything on the inside, right? So I'm gonna click here on the bottom of my pocket, and I can go ahead and click the pocket shape, and you can see that the base geometry was already imported there, right? The other option would be clicking on the pocket shape, clicking on geometry, and then I can go click the bottom and then do add. See, both ways work. Good. So if you go to depths, so here it says it's gonna start cutting at 5 and it's gonna finish cutting at 0. So this is not correct. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here and I'm gonna click on the pocket shape. So it's already gonna import this number, right? That information. That's what's the face of the pocket that we want to cut. So if you go to depth, see how this imported already. The start cut is going to be at 0. Final cut is going to be at -5. So what we're going to do, oh, I forgot something important. Let me go back here. So after we created the 1/4 inch end mill, we have to actually change it so it has the correct diameter. So when I double click 1/4 inch end mill, this window should open. If this window doesn't open, you have a problem, and then we just have to figure it out, right? It could be as easy as starting over the process to just deleting and getting a new FreeCAD downloaded. So, but I click it here and I got this window. So what I'm gonna do is, the thing that we're mostly worried about here is actually the diameter of our tool bit, because that's gonna have a direct impact on how the G code is going to be created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 0.25 inches for the diameter. I'm going to do OK. And if we go back here, you can see that it changed to actually 6.25. Right? So I can do OK. Oops. All right. So let's go back here. Okay. Click the bottom. Click the bottom. Go to the pocket shape. Base geometry is going to be the same phase. Depth. So it's going to start at 0, right? It's going to finish at -5. And the step now is going to be 5. So what I want to do is I'm going to change this to 4. Okay. And I'm actually going to start a little earlier. Instead of 0, I'm going to start like a +2 millimeters, right? So if you notice, like this variables were already populated based on what surface I click it on and what do I usually use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add 2 millimeters. So to +2 millimeters there. Okay. So as you can see, we're going to start at 2, and we're going to cut all the way to -2, right? In step downs at 4 millimeters. So it's going to take 4 millimeters. Then it goes again and take the rest of it. Right? So I'm going to do height. Height means like what's the travel height? Like how far the tool is actually from our surface once it's traveling to get either to the origin or to the tool change position or whatever is the position there. So you have that tool. So we're going to do +30 millimeters here, just so it hovers a little higher. +30 millimeters here. Okay, so whenever it's traveling, just go at that height. All right, so here we let's click on apply and see how it creates the operation there. So like the green is actually how the enemy is gonna move, right? So if we click OK, the operation was created, right? And one thing that we can do is actually we can click here on the cam simulator, and then we can really see it cutting. See, so you see if I can click the button, see, and that's all that's gonna do. If it's moving too fast and you can see things, so you can just like slow it down like this. Good. All right. So right now I want to either cancel or escape because so this cut material, this brown piece, if we hit OK or if we hit enter, it's gonna stay there, but then it's gonna stay on our way, you know. So what I want to do is we can click on this cut material again and just delete it. Yeah, so we go back to our model. All right, so let's understand more what's happening here. So now we have one operation instead of operations. That's the pocket shape, right? So you can double click and go back in there. So zigzag is actually this pattern, but like we saw on our on the simulation, that it left like some uncut pieces in here. So what I'm going to do is actually a zigzag offset pattern. So the zigzag offset, like I take a zigzag, and then it takes an offset, like a cut all around it, just to clean up the edges there. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this step over percent. Whenever you have 100%, you have 0% off step over. So One end mill is gonna come cutting. The other one, that like when it goes around the zigzag and it hits the side, is not like the two cuts are not gonna overlap. But like we kind of want it to overlap, so let's put something there. And if we do apply here, we're gonna see there are more green lines here. That means like some of the cutting is gonna be overlapped. Like it's actually good if that happens, because if we don't, the finish on the bottom there is not gonna be the best. You know, there's gonna be some fraying, some like stringing on the bottom from the fibers. So what I want to do is zigzag offset and then step over 80 or 75 or whatever I want to do. Okay, so that's my pocket operation that was right there. So the next operation would be cutting the profile. That means like cutting this out of our stock. So what we're gonna do is I can click here on the sides. See, click on side, control. Click on the next side, keep holding control. Click on the other side, keep holding control. Keep the other side and keep holding control. All right. So now I selected all four sides of my solid there. So now I can come ahead. I can go ahead and create my profile. So again, like you're gonna have the base geometry there, just because I selected the faces that I want to work on, and then I saved. So like that creates a better pay. So that creates like imports the faces that I want to cut, and it imports the start depth and the final depth, right? Because it knows what's the top and what's the bottom. The other option would be, let's move this guy around here a little bit. All right, looks better. All right, the other option that we have is actually clicking on this top face, and then we create on click on profile. However, we have the top face there, but like the depth, like where you want to cut, is actually kind of messed up, because it doesn't have the how thick the piece is. So it just guesses something there, I guess. So now we have to go manually and change this. Remember, we wanted to start the cut at 2 millimeters, and you wanted to finish the cut at -18. All right, so it's gonna start. So this total is actually, there's a total of 20, right, from 2 to -18, and we're gonna take 5 per pass. So it's gonna take like 4 passes for it to go through. So I want to hit heights. So I'm gonna do the same that I did with the other one, with this one. So plus 30 millimeters. I said plus. So plus. Oh my goodness. Again. All right. So we're gonna do the same here, plus 30 millimeters. So that means like it's gonna, when it travels, gonna hover like a little higher than it was going to be. So we can go to operation. So we changed the tools that were available inside of our job before we started this. So like the only option of 2 controllers is gonna be the tool that we selected there. right? If we didn't delete the default tool, then it would show here in this drop down menu, so you could select whatever you want, right? So what I'm going to do is, so when you cut this piece, what you want to cut is actually on the outside, right? Because on the inside you'll be cutting here. You cut on the outside, then we cut there. So you can pop this off. All right. Okay. All right, so now I have the two operations built here. And the next step, oh, we can simulate it just to make sure we like what we see, what we're gonna get. So it comes down, cuts the piece, it takes a profile, then cuts again, takes a profile. All right, so all right, good stuff. So I want to cancel this. Okay, now we're pretty close to the end. So I want to go to job. Now that I'm happy with what I got, what I'm gonna do is to go to output. I'm gonna select the name, and the name of the file should be, let's see, raw.nc. So it's some name.nc. We don't want the name to be long, just because the controller on the CNC machine is actually small. So then if we put something there, then it's gonna have a weird feeling to it. So run C, save. So I want to change the process to Centroid. Okay, I'm gonna do OK. So now I can click on my job, and I can hit this post process, and this is the G code that we created. See, it has a bunch of codes, and the CNC machine knows what those codes mean. So like either they're gonna be some positioning, some feed, some speed. I don't know if you remember, but like we had our one of our feeds 80 and one of our feeds 700, 800 and 700. So you can see there, one is actually when it's moving vertically, one is actually when it's moving horizontally, right? So if I hit OK, now it had created like the file that I told you to create, like that's raw.nc, and I told you to actually write on the dashboard. All right, so can we look at it? Yeah, we can come here, we can go to our feather pad. Let's open, and let's open okay, so we'll do rod.nc. Where is it? Oh, it's on our desktop. All right, so that's all the commands that the CNC machine is gonna follow to be able to cut that piece for us. All right, so this is how you go from the model to the G code. So that now this code in the next video we're gonna actually run on the CNC machine. All right, I hope this was informative, and I'm sorry for anything that didn't go well. All right, thank you. Bye.